everybody on YouTube. I'm going to start this video off with a question. If you and someone else, doesn't matter what it is, you can place someone into the secondary position, but you and another person are in imminent threat of death. Do you A, save yourself, or B, save the person who's beside you? Let's just make this person a stranger. Would you sacrifice yourself to save the stranger? I did that one of these things for like the Amazing Atheist, so I thought I might as well throw that question out here in front of one of my videos, and you can text response, video response, whatever you really want to do. But the meat of this video is personal responsibility, and I know I've done this in other videos with my video game violence thing, but this is more of a overarching topic I'm going to talk about. It's not going to be just limited to video game violence. Have you ever seen something happen that was bad, but you didn't stop it? That's personal responsibility. You saw something that you didn't do, or that you saw something that was bad and you didn't do anything. To a lesser extent, with scapegoats. Nobody has any personal responsibility anymore. There's always a scapegoat. If you're fat, it's not your personal responsibility for being fat. It's a genetic factor. It's some other outside factor besides yourself. If someone goes out and shoots someone, it's not their personal responsibility. It's someone else's. If someone gets bullied, that's not your personal responsibility for bullying someone. It's your home life or some other factor, or the music. And if you're the kid being bullied, it's your fault for getting bullied for some reason, most of the time. There's all these scapegoats that people use. If a kid goes up and shoots a school, they could use a myriad of things to say. They could say it was the music. They could say it was comics. They could say it was video games. They could say any of these measurable things, but they never usually say it was the parenting's fault. It was the faulting of the parents that made this child do what he did because he didn't have the proper structure at home, and therefore resorted to this violence. I had never heard that in any case of this. It's always video game violence, music, some other scapegoat that they use to alleviate pressure off of the parents or themselves. It's like the insanity defense that's been used so many times that's just a way of getting out of prison. If you don't want to go to prison and you know that you did it, you just say, I was insane at the time. You get to go to a mental asylum and you get out of it. But I think there needs to be more personal responsibility. If you do something, you need to be accountable. You, yourself, not another factor, not another person. You yourself needs to be personally held responsible. Or if there's another failing. I know I got bullied a lot in high school. I bet you couldn't guess. And I got really angry. I didn't know what to do. I turned that anger inward. I couldn't reconcile what to do. But thankfully I had a way to express my anger and not do what they did in Columbine. I mastered my anger. And that's because I had good friends, good support systems. And when kids are bullied, they're not seen as being bullied or anything. There's no cause and effect relationship in schools anymore. It's like, oh, this person was bullied. And it's like, Nobody says, oh, that could be why. No, it's because the kid's fucked up in the head. No, it's probably because of the bullying that the kid went up into a school and shot his classmates. It's not because of mental instability. That could be a factor, but that's not probably the main factor. If it was mental instability, it was the parents' responsibility to know that this child was unstable, and either pull him out of school or get him diagnosed and on medication that would stop him from being so inhibited to the point where he would go up and shoot his school just because he couldn't deal with the bullying that he had. Personal responsibility is key. Personal responsibility and parental responsibility are key problems in the United States and places everywhere. But a bigger problem in the United States, there's just other failings other than the scapegoats people use. But I've seriously never seen a case where people say, oh, it was the parenting's problem, or it was some other tangible problem. There's always this kid with, it was the music, it was this, it was that, it was blah-de-da-de, fuck that. It does these children disservice and people disservice to blame it on another factor when the clear answer is right staring you in the fucking face because you're looking in the mirror, but you didn't know and you didn't want to say it was my fault. Now, if I have kids and that child does something, I would take personal responsibility. I would say that was my fault. That was my personal responsibility to take care of this child, but I failed. I would take responsibility. The buck would stop with me. I would not pass it off to someone else. I would say it was my fault, my bad. I should be the one who was punished, not the child, nobody else but me. But I don't think enough parents are actually willing to have that kind of balls to actually admit that they were wrong. Have you ever noticed the double standard in education when a kid does very well? It's like the parents are always like, yes, let's praise them. It's like, oh, I helped them. But if the child is an asshole, a fucking bottom D student, nobody says, oh, that was me. I did that. I helped in that. It's fucking messed up. But I'll leave you with this. If there was more personal responsibility, would things like Columbine, bullying, would there things like that, would that exist? And if it did exist, wouldn't there be less occurrences of trouble because of parental intervention and personal responsibility? I'll leave you with that, and think about if you and another person, a complete stranger, were hanging off of a cliff, you're imminently going to die. Who would you save? Text, comment, video response, because I want to know. I personally would choose to save the person beside me because they would probably have a better chance of getting out of the situation anyway. But that's all I gotta say. RezenatorZen. Peace and love from Rez. Have a wonderful day. Peace.